133 times we have graced these microphones. Didn't always start off with these microphones.
No.
Graced microphones.
We didn't spend money on stuff because we weren't sure how this was going to go.
Well, this all started with you saying, I have equipment. Do you want to do a podcast? And we tried to do one on Smurfs, but we didn't know enough about Smurfs. And here we are. It's been like, what, 5 years since you said, let's make a podcast. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Almost 3 years of doing this one. Almost.
That's nuts. I'm sorry. I'm just hung up on what the Smurf podcast would have been. Like, would we have called it like Three Apples High podcast or
La 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 cast.
La 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 la.
I don't know. Would we have had to wear like Smurf caps though? I would have done that. I definitely would have.
Can you buy Smurf hats? That'd be. You can just make them, but like.
You go to the dollar store at Christmas time, you buy like an elf hat and like paint it white, or you go to like a Santa hat for Papa Smurf, and then you can use the white fluff as a beard. We should cosplay as the Smurfs at Star Wars Celebration 2020.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to start by saying my sister just got engaged on Friday. Yeah, spoiler. I don't know if she wants anybody to know yet, but she's engaged anyway. And I'm like, so the joke is like, when's the date? Because whenever you get engaged, the first thing everybody asks is, when's the date? Yeah. And obviously you haven't thought that far because you just got engaged. So I jokingly said it. And then I was talking to her earlier today, and I said, you just can't get married August 27th to 30th next year. And she's like, why? I'm like, because we're going to Anaheim to Star Wars Celebration, and you just can't get married. And that weekend, I've become that guy. Like, Star Wars comes first, your wedding comes second. You need to understand this. But anyway, she said, it's not going to be that weekend anyway. So that worked out.
Nice.
Yeah, so it looks like I'll still be going to Star Wars Celebration. Anyway, I was on the interwebs earlier last week, and this actress named Brie Larson.
Have you heard of her?
She's been in a few movies. She was in Community. Right?
Was she?
I think she was in an episode of Community. I don't remember things. She was in The Room or Room. Which one was she in? She was in the good one, not the bad one, the good one. Which I guess you could.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. But anyway, she's obsessed with Star Wars. She was at the grand opening of Galaxy's Edge, and she posted a picture of her in Jedi robes, and angry fanboys took to social medias and said she should not be in Star Wars. And I was like, what? I just saw Captain Marvel a week ago. I was like, I liked Captain Marvel in Endgame, and I liked the movie Captain Marvel, which everybody else hated apparently, but I thought it was good, and I didn't hate her in it either. So I'm okay with her being in a Star Wars movie if she wants.
Why shouldn't she be in the movie? I don't understand. Like, why shouldn't a beautiful woman be in a Star Wars movie?
Because, Brock, she said that white men over 40 should not critique A Wrinkle in Time because that's not who the movie was targeted for, and thus she hates all white men over 40.
Did she actually do that?
Well, she said something along. I'm paraphrasing. No, she said something along the lines of, "I don't need an old white guy to tell me about Wrinkle in Time. Give me,
correct. Oh yes,
give me give me a young girl." You know, which is actually it is actually a fair point. Like that movie, it's like if we went to go see a Star Wars movie and a Trekkie walked in and reviewed it, like, you know, they're gonna have a different opinion than a Star Wars fan is gonna have an opinion. Like, it's just movie genres, and you know, I mean, half of what she's saying made sense. The other half is, if it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. It doesn't matter who reviews it. You know. I mean, I love bad movies. We all know I love bad movies. I just said I like Captain Marvel, and I don't think that was probably fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, actually.
I think so. I think it did well. Like, I think it did what it did, and it went away. You know what I mean?
It made $1 billion. Like, it made $1 billion.
But James, $1 billion isn't enough anymore.
Oh my God.
Like, as long as they could pay the people that made the movie and possibly make a second one, it's a success. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it did well. I think a lot of people liked it, but you know, it's not doing like what's the second one? Endgame. Like it's not the Endgame effect,
or
but that's a whole different thing. Like
I liked Spider-Man Far From Home better than Captain Marvel. I probably like. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but spoiler alert. Mysterio.
It is Spider-Man.
Mysterio's in it. I liked it. But I like I like Spider-Man. So it's really hard for like the year Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. That was my number one movie of the year. So suck it. Like I just like Spider-Man. I don't care. I like that better. I don't think I liked it better than Endgame. But I liked it a lot. I liked it better than Black Panther, and I liked it better than Ant-Man. And I really liked Ant-Man a lot. I just liked it. I don't know. Maybe I was in a good mood when I saw it. I was just like, I also was expecting nothing. Like my expectations were hard because you said people you went with thought it was boring.
Yeah.
And I've heard people be like, it's not that good, and everyone says Shazam is way better, which I still haven't seen either. So anyway, whatever. She should be in Star Wars because she's an A-list actress, and if she wants to be in a movie, you put her in a movie because the last movie she made $1 billion and she won an Oscar.
Yeah. And why wouldn't you want a person like that who's already excited about Star Wars to be on a Star Wars project? I mean, look what she did for like the Endgame red carpet for the premiere. She wore that like jewel thing, and it was the Infinity Stones. She doesn't have to do that. She just does it because she wants to. I mean, maybe like someone gave her the idea to do it, but like she was like, boom, Infinity Glove, and it's just like, and also, she's a good actress. She was in Scott Pilgrim versus the Universe versus the World.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. She's Canadian, so we're always gonna support her, anyways. But yeah. Relax.
You know what? Screw it. I don't want her in Star Wars. I want her to direct a Star Wars.
Yeah. It was cool. Like, with all hate, there's always an extra like love for it. Joe Quinones, I believe I'm pronouncing that properly. He's an artist currently with Marvel. He does a lot of Star Wars actually, and drew a picture of Brie Larson in like. It's just like a profile shot, but she's wearing the robes and but she has like a Padawan braid like flying out of the hood, and it's cool. I'm like, yeah, hooray! Everyone like he likes it, and he works with Star Wars constantly. So relax, everyone else.
No one knows how to relax in this day and age. Honestly, it's like there is the argument that she's too high profile to be in Star Wars, but is she higher profile than? Who am I thinking? Is she higher profile than some of the people that have been in Star Wars? Than Alec Guinness, say, in A New Hope time? Yeah. Is she higher profile than Samuel L. Jackson? Yeah. Is she higher profile than Liam Neeson? I mean, she might be a tier higher than Ewan McGregor or two maybe now.
Perhaps, yeah.
But she's an Academy Award winner who is just in... I think it's actually because they re-released it is going to pass Avatar, who was in the biggest movie of all time and was like the new like hot ticket in that movie. Like, God, Marvel's going to be in it. So anyway, and she has 2 haircuts in the movie. Spoilers.
Yeah. That was like the big. I love when time passes. It's like we all got a haircut.
Well, one of the characters got more than a haircut, and it was the best thing that ever happened to a Marvel movie ever. I'm talking about Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Thor. I won't say what happens because, like I said, like not everybody has seen it, and this is not the place to get spoilers. But I will spoil Spider-Man because Brock hasn't seen it, just to spite him.
No! I wish I could turn off the Skype and then come right back.
No, Well, I want to take... Erin hasn't seen Spider-Man yet, and I want to take her, but she hasn't seen Endgame either. And I'm like, well...
Yeah.
Like, I can't even show you a Spider-Man trailer because you haven't seen Endgame. So, there you go. I think... Anyway, we'll talk about that on our other podcast. Marvel! Our Smurf podcast can deal with that. Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for joining us for the 133rd time. Like we said earlier, that's Brock. I'm James.
Yeah.
We have live streams on Monday. Thanks everybody that joined us on the live stream this Monday where we did a Never Tell the Odds and the internet or Skype or something blew out, so we stopped it. Should we promote Heidi's book?
Yeah, we should. Hit it up.
Well, you got to go to lulu.com. That's LULU.com. And you can get Heidi's book. The list price is $8.99. And
wow.
It's her name's Heidi, but the pen name that she's using is Anne Dryden. Bride of the Dragon King is the name of the book. You can add it to your cart. It's very easy to use. Lulu.com. She uses a pen name, but in I should let her know. But the author, it says about Heidi Feder on the side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Heidi, and then in brackets Anne Dryden. So she knows what's going on. She actually, okay, never mind. She knows.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a really good story. You guys should check this out. The artwork on it the cover is cool. I may get her to do the cover of my upcoming book, which is going to happen. Anyway, go to lulu.com to check out Heidi's book. We'll put a link in the description below. And on our 3rd anniversary, we will be giving away a copy signed by Anne Dryden herself.
Wow.
So that should be a lot of fun. So check that out. Other big news that happened this week are Red Stormtroopers are not called Red Stormtroopers. They are called Sith Troopers. We lightly touched on this on the live stream. They are, I think, confirmed. All of them are clones of Anakin Skywalker. And if you don't know what we're talking about, check out that live stream to hear Hawk's Holocron's answer that one. But Brock, what were your first impressions of the Sith Trooper?
I mean, they're awesome. Like, the merchandise alone is like, wow. And, San Diego is is happening, is about to happen, whatever. It's awesome looking stuff. The pops look great. The Black Series look great. You can't hurt putting in a new Stormtrooper. It's almost like if we didn't get a new Stormtrooper, we'd be like, what? I watched the Star Wars YouTube show because it seemed like they had the most information on it. Correct me if I'm wrong, James.
Well, they should. They are the
yeah.
Star Wars show.
But like the probably problem, and I said this at the web stream, is like it's cool, but like it's when you look at the merchandise, I don't think anything specifically says Rise of the Skywalker. I could be completely wrong, right? Like, but like no one's talking about we're hypothesizing on like it's saying, oh, it's from Rise of Skywalker, but then like I don't know, like no one's getting an explanation of why Sith Trooper, like why Sith Trooper all of a sudden. I mean, I'm down for it because it looked like in that fake poster we got a couple months ago, they're in the forefront, and we're like, ooh, that looks like the Stormtrooper from Resistance. Like, this is awesome. Is this a way to connect it? What is it? But it doesn't make sense because we haven't talked about Sith Trooper or Sith for almost 2 movies now, and like, if it was an old Stormtrooper, I'm not wrong, right? It's the First Order helmet, right? It's not. Yeah. So like that blend, I need to understand why it is. I don't know what you think, James.
I think CVP's been behind everything from the start. The First Order was all born from CVP. But here's what I think. I bought this little thing. Do you see it, Brock? Can you see it on your screen? There you go for you. This is Commander Pyre from the Resistance show. I haven't watching Resistance, but I'm going to wait for my nephew so we can do the kid cast together. But I love this Commander Pyre. He might be on my top 5 list. I don't even know what he does. Because he's a gold Phasma.
Yeah.
Or she's a gold Phasma. It's a guy. But anyway, awesome looking thing. I love Stormtroopers. I saw the red one and I was like, I took out my wallet. I have no money. And I took out my debit card and I put it on the counter. And I said, somebody take all of my money and buy me all of them. That Black Series figure of it looks amazing. The Funko Pop looked amazing. The t-shirt that I'm going to own with them on it's going to look amazing. They're going to look great behind me. I think it is fantastic looking. Now, is this another C2B5 from Rogue One where these characters don't appear basically in the movie whatsoever? We're going to find out. But I think we're going to learn right from the get-go that Emperor Palpatine was behind all of this from the start. And this is just, these might be just I like the idea. I'm hoping that they're clones, like the clone troopers. I hope that it goes full circle back to that.
Yeah.
But I would also like it that maybe, unlike, like the clones are clones, but maybe like Grievous, they aren't Sith themselves, but they are trained in the arts.
Yeah.
And there is a training that they have. And so they can't completely be Sith, but they understand it and the workings of it, and they can, it doesn't look like they have lightsabers, but maybe they do. Maybe they have some red lightsabers. Because what do we all want? More lightsaber battles. And what has Daisy Ridley has promised us? An epic lightsaber battle, possibly the best one to ever be in Star Wars. What does that entail? I have no idea. But if it's 100 Sith Troopers and Kylo Ren and Rey and Luke and Obi-Wan and Yoda and Qui-Gon and Mace, and it's not, but it's just like, how epic is that? I think when she says it's epic, it's her and Kylo, and it's going to be a phenomenal duel. But
yeah,
look, man, this is your last hurrah. This is the Skywalker saga. Every Star Wars movie that comes out after this is lesser because of it. Eventually it might be greater, but you know what I mean? Like, this is it. This is your last hurrah. This is your end game. Every Marvel movie that comes out now is going to be lesser than Endgame. The stakes aren't there yet. We don't know what they are until later on. So do what Endgame did. Just give us everything. Give us and they went back to George Lucas to rewrite this and get help with this. And how do you bring back CVP? How do you do this? How do you do that? They went back to him. And I think that was the right move because this should be everything should just be involved in this. Just let the restraints off and do what you want to do. Make the ultimate Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I fully agree. I really like the idea that they're clones. It would also, as you were talking, I'm like, what if maybe it's not like a full army, maybe it's like 20 of them, but it's all reanimated corpses of past Jedi. Take off the helmet, Ewan McGregor. Take off the helmet, Samuel L. Jackson. Somehow there's a Yoda head.
But imagine, like, Shivi could have been in there. Shivi P's could have been in, the old Jedi temple and gotten, like, blood samples that I'm sure they had in their labs or whatever, and just been like, let's clone Plo Koon. Let's clone Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
Let's clone... I don't think that'll happen. I think that is something that I think would happen on a series, but in a movie, I don't think it's gonna happen. But why? But also, why not? Like, why not just be like, CVP had the ability and he did it.
He takes over the Jedi temple.
Yep.
You can't tell me there isn't DNA evidence in the med bay. Jedi get hurt. Also, like, I've been sort of like unimpressed by Palpatine returning, but I always loved in Rebels the last season where they do this, like, I always call it the Star Bridge. I can't remember the actual name.
World Between Worlds.
World Between Worlds. If they could, like, work that in, because that would be one, it would make the Rebels episode be so important, because you could have just found it, and then not had Palpatine in it, but he was there anyways. If it's like that's how it explains his whole plan, that perhaps he was a time traveler the whole time, or a dimension hopper. So a past one of him came back. Like, that would be so convoluted, but like, I would love that. I don't know if it fits in the movies because I feel like it's a little far-fetched, but I feel like in general, Lucasfilm and Marvel and Disney want to create like a new like mysticism to this, especially in Dr. Aphra. They're really pushing the idea that like the Jedi weren't as great as you think they were. So it's like we might not have Sith and Jedi, but like the Force always exists, so we can move on. Like, so like maybe this is a moment where we can like, whoa, that's crazy. Palpatine can do this. What? So I don't know. But yeah, going back to the Sith Troopers, they look awesome. I even think you said in the live stream, it's like the Death Troopers are never really called the Death Troopers. There's just a name. But so it could just be a bait and switch. I think it might be a Constable of Vesuvian where like it gets cut, but they still make a toy anyways.
I hope that is not the case.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because it's like I saw a story when I was looking for news. It's like apparently Last Jedi is reshooting or going back for reshoots, and I'm like, yeah, that's what movies do. I was like, that's not a story. I didn't even read it, so I don't know if it was trying to be like, oh my god, there's trouble on the Star Wars front. I'm like, no, there's not. You reshoot things all the time.
I don't even want to talk about reshoots. I'm over that going forward. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Oh, sorry, what if Brie Larson is a Sith Trooper?
Ooh.
Why
Maybe.
not? Why not?
Do we want that though? I mean, we saw Finn take off the helmet.
Well, she could like Daniel Craig, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, I thought you meant like actually reveal herself. I just keep envisioning a scene now where like people take off helmets and reveal someone underneath, which never really happened.
No, I don't think we're ever going to see another stormtrooper take off there, unless there's like at the end there's like a coup or something. So any stormtrooper that sides with the First Order / Empire will not take off their helmet. But when they're like, "I'm with you," then they'll take them off. But I don't think we'll see any stuff. Maybe that's where Matt Smith is. I don't think we'll see any faces. I don't want to either. She's not a Sith Trooper. I was just joking. She's not in Star Wars. Yeah, she's not. All right, let's move on to good old Chewbacca. Jonas has been talking, and I think it was IMDb said like, "What's the most shocking thing or movie or something?" And he said, "The one that's about to come out that I'm in." And that's a huge paraphrase. I don't have the quote in front of me because it won't load. But he said that. So Star Wars, according to him, well, not really according to him. We're all speculating that according to him, The Rise of Skywalker will be extremely shocking. Brock, does that shock you?
No. I don't. I think I said this before. I don't really. I like to stay positive and believe everything actors say, but they're also just talking about, hey, come see my movie. It's good. So I think Juno Satamo is a kind of guy that's probably down to earth anyways. So, because you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like, it's fun what they do, but it's a job, Like, it's not, there's so much CG and green screen in these movies now that, like, you're not really seeing the full effect till you watch it later on. So like, I mean, I guess he's watching clips, maybe seeing edited stuff, right? And then you're like, wow. So like, you just go, like, when you're on set, it's like, oh, there's that guy in the green suit walking away from me. It turns out it's a Rancor, but it's not. Like, so it's sort of like, it's, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I'm excited. And he's Chewbacca, so I believe everything he says to me.
I'm going to take him at his word. And why not shock us when you can shock us with this movie? Like I said, just give us the ultimate Star Wars movie. Things are going to happen. There's going to be consequences. Make sure there are consequences. Kill off Kylo Ren in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Wow. You have enough characters, you could do it.
Just kill him off. Just be like, bam! His head is on the ground, and you're like, what just happened?
Like, I don't like the term Ultimate Star Wars. I'm not going after you because you said the Ultimate Star Wars movie. Like, the second you start saying stuff like that, then you're immediately going to get people, once they see it, they're like, oh, it wasn't good, we're terrible. Like, you watch the Star Wars show episode where they talk about the Sith Troopers, right?
Yep.
Right after that, they had a segment with a band. I forget what they were called, but they were just talking about Star Wars movie, and they're like, my favorite movie is Last Jedi, and they're in their, like, 20s or whatever. Yeah. And they were like, Han Solo is great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is what we need. People that are just like, I like Star Wars, and this is what I like, and that's cool. The end. Like, so, anyways.
But this movie is the end, Brock.
This is the end.
But I still don't understand what is Star Wars. What makes this more, like, what makes the next trilogy Star Wars? Because right now, Star Wars is, everyone's like, well, it's this and that. It's like, well, no, it's been Skywalker. It's been Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Rey, not Skywalker. Like, it's been, like, this is what we've known of Star Wars so far. And we talked about this on the thing, but everybody has been, and you mentioned how it's 2 Game of Thrones, but everybody has been related to everybody. It's been a small universe because it is isolated. We're looking at an isolated story. So when you remove that isolation, you break us off into something else, will, the regular moviegoers care about something called Star Wars, but has nothing that resembles Star Wars in the faces on the screen? There might be a lightsaber, there might be an empire, there might be this or that, but it will be, missing something. So do they bring in a Yoda? I don't know if it's Yoda, but a Yoda, Luke, or like something like that to tie. Is there going to be something to tie them together, or are they going to be completely separate? Which is why I still think that, Rey didn't have to be a Skywalker or anything, but they put The Force Awakens to put too much emphasis on Luke for them to be able to branch the new characters off into their own, because he's so important to everything. That really the new trilogy is still about Luke, which is why I think a lot of people kind of feel let down by Luke and Last Jedi, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Here's something that just popped into my head. Do we really know the importance of Luke? Yeah, we know he's the main character from the movies, and he reestablishes balance. But it's just like, he's a main character, he's the everyman, and you follow him through the movie, and he wins the day. But then, what is his, him doing that is great, but then, what is his point after that? You know what I mean? And it's sort of, he becomes like this ghost story, this legend in the galaxy. And of course, I know we haven't been told what happens between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, but do we need that story? I think that's in one of the odds or later on. It's just like, I feel like we've put so much emphasis on things that, I love Luke Skywalker, I like Mark Hamill, I'm just sort of thinking we need to move on, because you're starting to see these gaps where it's just why is Luke so important? Why is Anakin so important? At what point is the balance reestablished? I don't know, because you get the new trilogy and it's just we're just back to the thing. So I don't know. Is there, and now, like I said earlier, it's the Jedi aren't as good as they seem. So it's will we get an answer in episode 9 where it's balanced, reestablished, or whatever? The galaxy is back to where, with order, you always need chaos, right? I don't know. I'm just on a tangent now. I don't know.
All right, let's move on to Never Tell Me the Odds. They're brought to us by Patreon. Our Patreon supporters. If you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. You got early access and some bonus stuff going on over there. So today's Patreons are Heidi Feder, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Christine Allison, Mary Kristenathan, Jeff Wilson, Aaron Quinton, Al Schuler,
Phil Staniforth, JRP, Nerdcast, Scott D, Jacob Nixon, Andy Higgins, Mason Hope, Matt W, Tony Comstock, FP, and Den of Nerds.
The Den of... Do not watch that channel.
Yeah, they're the...
Yeah, unsubscribe. I'm just joking. I do have to point out, I think I mentioned on the live stream, but if you go to Kickstarter and type in Shadows of the Empire, there's a Shadows of the Empire series in development. It is being Kickstarter right now. I think there's 12, 11, 10 days, somewhere around there. By the time this goes up, I'm not sure. So it might be 11 or 10 days left. In that Patrons, you get to listen to the Outlander Club that I did with him, David Ortiz, who's the creator of that, the other day. Everyone else will get that soon. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a really cool project, and support it if you can. I think it's going to be a lot of, like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun to see Dash Rendar come to life. Good old Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
And Prince Shizor as well. There's a whole lot, well, Brock, you've played the games and all that. Shadows is a cool story, I think.
Yeah. I read the book. The book was like better than the game.
Oh,
because,
for
like,
sure.
you missed stuff in the game.
And that was like, it was a book, video game, comic. There was a soundtrack for it. It had everything. It was pretty awesome. Today's odds are going to be mostly focused on Shadows of the Empire because of that Kickstarter. The link will be in the description below. And if it's not, contact the Den of Nerds because he sabotaged it. Here we go. Our first odd. The odds of Lebo, the droid, appearing in live action. Lebo Brock appearing in live action on screen at some point.
It's not a character I think of that much.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to Shadow of the Empires, I think Dash Rendar and like his ship.
Which his ship was in one of the prequels, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Or no, it was put in A New Hope or something. It's somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, like, isn't it Rogue One that, like, has a bunch of stuff? Or no, I'm thinking of, like, the Ghost from Rebels or something like that. Because I know, like, there's a whole Rebels thing. Well, but, like, Lebo's a cool character that they could just throw in and, like, normal people will be like, but then people are like, yeah! So, like, I've never thought of picking characters out of that, so maybe, like, 60%, like, maybe down the road when they run out of other things to throw in. That sounds bad. But, yeah. 60%.
I gotta go around the same, actually. 63%. I think that there's a way to sneak Lebo in, not be like a main character, but something in the background, like, yo, get Lebo over there, and then something like that in a way. Lebo would have been a great character to throw in solo at some point, because Dash Rendar is pretty much solo when you don't have Han Solo, when Solo's frozen in carbonite. So I would that would have been a nice little time. Plus, with all the droid stuff that goes on, that would have been a nice thing to see. But what is so that never happened. All right, our next the odds of Prince Shizor appearing on screen with Maul.
Ooh, I would love that. Just another reason to make a solo movie. I would say 65%. Based on nothing. Based on just like, oh, that would be sick. I guess like Crimson Dawn and Black Sun, where that we always kind of lump them together, even though I don't think they've kind of existed at the same time. It would be interesting. So, 65.
I gotta go low. I think 30. I 100% want this to happen, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I just. I don't know. It makes sense to me. There's so much sense that it makes, but I feel like they're gonna stay away from all of that. And if we get more Maul, I would love to see Crimson Dawn versus Black Sun or something like that. Then you can bring in Shizor like that. Hopefully, it doesn't show up as something like Resistance, like they did with Thrawn and Rebels. And Thrawn and Rebels was great, but I hope Shizor gets something a little bit bigger landscape to play around with, because I think he's an interesting character for sure. And our final odd, the odds of a Disney Plus series taking place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Ooh. I mean, I think they should hit up all those things. They should have, they should just fill in all the gaps. Though, I guess, technically they already are. The Star Wars ongoing comic is now moving on closer to Empire Strikes Back, where they've ended it, and it's like, oh, here's our new planets, and it's Hoth, and it's like, oh, we're going there. So, like, I know that's not Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but perhaps we're getting to those points. Likelihood of on Disney Plus, I'm gonna go full Brock, because I don't know. Like, I want it, but does everybody else want it?
Yeah. It's such a rich avenue to explore. There's so much that can be done there. And you think of what they're doing with Marvel on Disney Plus. I'm curious what their direction's going to be, and if they're going to want to recast Mark Hamill. You know what I mean? If they want someone else to play Luke Skywalker, are you going to want to do that? But it's such a rich time frame. It's a rich time period that that the Disney brass seem to be obsessed over right now. Like everything is in the original trilogy. God forbid you go somewhere else. It's got to be in there. Everything's got to look used. No more new. Star Wars isn't new anymore. So I mean, it's perfect, and there's so many opportunities. Obviously, Shadows of the Empire explored it and did a great job of it. I think, especially for that time, with what we said, with the comics, the video games, the book, the soundtrack, all of the action figures, all that, they created Star Wars again through this in a way that it was different from the Thrawn trilogy, right? Where it did feel a lot more cinematic in a lot of ways. So I'm going to go, I got to full Brock this one too, because it's so easy. It's almost too easy. How can you not want to explore a time when Han Solo is frozen in carbonite? Why not? Where did that plan come from? Show us the fruition of this plan. Show us the origins of it. But that might not happen. So I'm going full Brock. All right, speaking of full Brock, let's go to the Hollow News. Hollow News.
Hollow News. Welcome to the news you need to know right now. We are quickly approaching San Diego. It might even be occurring right now. I don't know. I'm in a basement. I don't know what's going on around me. And obviously a lot of things are going to get dropped. A lot of things are going to get shown. One of the big things Star Wars is showing this year is Del Rey's Thrawn Saga, the third installment, Thrawn, Treason, written by everyone's favorite, Timothy Zahn. So it's been revealed this one will have to do a lot with Chiz, or his home planet, and it was just revealed, I think, this week that the character of Eli Vanto, who, if you remember from the first one, was like his protege, sort of brought him through and got him to where he is. He wasn't seen in the second book. He has returned, and he has gone to help the Chiz Ascendancy. We're gonna meet other Chiz like Thrawn, so that's really exciting. There's currently an excerpt on the Del Rey website, I believe, but if you just search Thrawn Treason, I'm sure it'll come up. There's, I think, an audio book portion of it as well. So check that out. It will be released July 26th, and I'm excited. So I believe it will be for sale during San Diego. So roughly is the same time, but I guess they get somewhat of a head start. I don't know what's going on. And as we said earlier, it was scratch that. That's an old story. I shouldn't use that. Sorry about that. We're wheeling and dealing. We're always changing. And we'll go with this story. Diego Luna recently said in an interview with I don't even know where, but he was talking about Rogue One and how he was disappointed with the ending. Not so much how it ended, just where his character went. He said, I really realized that a character I loved in the universe I couldn't care more about was done. But the tone of our film, it plays honor to, I believe, the best times in this universe. And obviously, I say the best because it's when I was open and ready to receive that. Those Star Wars films left a very deep mark on me as the audience and as a filmmaker. So it's like he was kind of bummed out. It's like, oh, that was a great character. Why couldn't he live on? But as we all know, Cassian Andor will be coming out on Disney Plus in 2020, I believe. I don't know if they have an exact date yet. But he said TV is where you have time to develop, to see characters and do stuff that a film won't allow us. And I think the proximity sometimes with the audience becomes so much more profound with the connection. And he said on reuniting with Alan Tudyk, who is K2SO, the dynamic with Alan was so special. It's going to be fun to keep playing. So that's a lot of cool news to know about the Cassian Andor movie, and like he's really devoted to that role, and so that's awesome. And then our final story, pretty brief, but I'm sure if you look up lightsabers guiding traffic, you'll see the story about there was a power outage in part of New York, I believe, and people took to the streets to help bring down the chaos. And the video will show people are using their own plastic lightsabers to guide traffic around. That's what I call using the Force. And this has been Hollow News for another week, and back to you.
Yeah, that was a great Hollow News. You did a great job. You were like a newscaster on that one. Good job. Okay. Let's move on to top 5.
Okay. Top 5. What's our top 5 this
just
week?
so you know, I was talking, but I muted my mic to you.
Okay, great.
So everybody at home listening is like, why was Brock being a jerk?
Why is Brock wearing different headphones?
Magic. All right, here we go. This is our top 5. Top 5 EU characters, expanded universe characters that did not appear in live action and were not leading. Does that make sense? So it's top 5 non-cinematic characters that are not at the forefront of the story. Cool? Are we all? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That probably makes no
ahead.
sense.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Jan Tosh from the animated series Droids. He looks like Rambo.
Oh my God.
He looks like Rambo. He helps out with the Avatar-looking creatures, and that's just go watch Droids again. Brock, you're number 5.
Number 5 is Shriv from Battlefront 2, because that guy is the best.
Yeah, actually, he is the best. You're absolutely right. My number 4 is Prince Shizor. Sheezy in the heezy. That's what. Look, I think he's a really cool villain with a good look, and somebody that I would like to see more of going forward.
And we mentioned him before, but I'm gonna go with Lebo from.
Oh yeah.
From Shadows of the Empire, because there's so many other characters. Like there's one in Force Unleashed. It's a fun droid character that kind of helps you with your storyline. He's like usually, I'll fly you in and you jump out and shoot things.
I love it. My number 3, Commander Pyre. Because he's gold and he looks awesome.
Ooh, yeah.
And I've never actually seen him in a series or anything, but I'm going with him as my number 3 because I don't care. He's cool looking.
My number 3 is going to be Hondo Ohnaka, because he's the guy that keep bringing back in all the series. And now he's in the theme park. Like, that's awesome. I'm super psyched.
I wanted to put Hondo, but I had to give it to this guy. Hashtag bring back Teak. Bring back Teak.
Yeah.
Bring back Teak. Bring him back, everybody. Brock, who's your number 2?
My number 2, maybe this is bending the rules, but she's not exactly the main character. Sabine Wren from Rebels. I think she could lead her own show by itself, and it's like, where did her and Ahsoka go? I wanted to put Ahsoka on here, but she seems like too much of a main character, so.
Yeah, sure. My number 1 is Cad Bane. I think we're inching closer and closer to seeing Cad Bane in live action.
Yeah.
But right now he's my number 1 character from whatever our top 5 was. Brock, you're number 1.
My number 1 is Thrawn. I mean, what a great villain. What a great anti-hero. Like, let's go. I'm excited to read the 3rd book, and it's got the legacy from the expanded universe, or the legacy from the legacy legends. He's a great, really cool character. I'm glad they brought him back. So, yeah,
absolutely. But he's no Teak. I'll say that.
That's true. I forget about Teak, which is
Brock.
crazy.
133 flawless episodes. No technical issues today at all.
Zero.
Not even one.
Not one.
Not one. Flawless show. So this will be up in about 4 weeks from the time we recorded it.
Yep.
Our 3-year anniversary is coming up. It's so emotional. All right. Well, anyway, our service on the phone is going to die because we live in Canada where we don't get service.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us, everybody. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, join our Patreon, join our this, that, everything, whatever you want. Brock, just remember one thing. You were always scum.
Technical difficulty, Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.